Magic 96, your one-stop shop for all things movies. From reviews, unboxings, and collections, I'm here to celebrate the magic of cinema. Now, let's roll the film. In today's video, I'll be continuing my movie shelf stories videos with part 4. If you're new to this series, it's where I go over to the shelf, pick up a film, and talk about it, leading with the first thing that comes to mind. So let's switch up the camera and dive into the collection. All right, what are we gonna start off with today? Let's start off with the first film I have in here, and that is 8 Mile. For me, just such an amazing, sort of semi-biopic. It's the first rap song to win an Academy Award for Best Original Song, which was obviously Lose Yourself. Eminem is my favorite rapper. And what else, man? Who remembers the film Southpaw? I know Eminem was supposed to be the main character, the Jake Gyllenhaal in there, and then I don't know what happened, but I guess he chose not to do it. But and then Rachel McAdams was in that as well. Also, I have a memory of watching. There's a movie called Da Hip Hop Witch, which is absolute trash. Do not watch it. It's a parody, obviously, of the Blair Witch, and Eminem's in it for like 2 minutes. But I remember watching the whole. Before YouTube was big and stuff like that, but watching the entire movie and it was just really bad and low budget and stuff like that. But of course, Eminem in 8 Mile is B-Rabbit, or Jimmy, whatever you want to call him. And so many other characters, or so many other actors and actresses in the movie that were good as well. Of course, Kim Basinger, Mekhi Phifer, Brittany Murphy, gone too soon. She's an incredible actress. Who else is in here? Anthony Mackie, Papa Doc, and Michael Shannon. So many good actors. This had to be his peak of of popularity. Obviously Slim Shady LP. That 3-album run of Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers LP, and then my favorite album, The Eminem Show, was had to be his most popular years. And then Encore goes down a little bit, and then he takes that gap before relapse when he gets sober and stuff like that. But so 8 Mile, just a phenomenal film, and I never went ahead and got it on 4K, but I probably will at some point. So we're gonna continue with the top shelf, and let's go Austin Powers, the trilogy. Shocked we haven't gotten these on 4K yet. But, as you can see here, I have this 3-pack. I also used to have a 3 DVD pack, and it was really cool. The case had all the different colors, like the yellows and the greens and the pinks and stuff like that. But go back and, I have all the James Bond films right there. But go back on the Wikipedia page and just search how many, references that Austin Powers has to the original James Bond films, and it's amazing. Obviously, Mike Myers wrote the film, so he had to be a huge fan of James Bond, of those early films from the 60s and 70s. But for me, my favorite lead actress, I guess would say, would be Elizabeth Hurley at the top. Obviously Beyonce's iconic and stuff like that, but we recognize her more as a singer than an actress. But yeah, I love Elizabeth Hurley, and she's still gorgeous to this day. And just the quotes, man, just the "Oh Behave" and the testicles, spectacles, wallet, watch, fat bastard with Get in My Belly. So just a great film for me. Like as a live action film of Mike Myers, you either go with Austin Powers or Wayne's World. I would take Austin Powers over Wayne's World. I'm trying to think what else. They've spoke for years about either a third Wayne's World film or a fourth Austin Powers, but I would just leave it alone. Obviously some of the humor wouldn't be appropriate today, and I don't know. Goldmember is like 2002, 2001, so again, we're 20 plus years out, and I would just leave it alone. But this is my favorite live action Mike Myers film, and then Shrek would be my favorite performance of Mike Myers. But he did a bunch of besides those 3 franchises that I just mentioned, he did a bunch of cameos. Not cameos, just short performances. Like he was in Inglourious Bastards for a little bit, and then he was in Bohemian Rhapsody, and then if you were very young when this came out, you would enjoy the bizarreness of the live action Cat in the Hat, which I do. It was very strange, so I can understand someone seeing it, an adult, and being like, this is the weirdest thing ever, or someone not having grown up with it and just watching it currently and not appreciating it. But it is absolutely bizarre. It's like an acid trip. But yeah, so that is Austin Powers. Okay, we got to get away from the first shelf. Let's go to the second one, and let's pick Evil Dead 2013. This is a really bad release from Scream Factory. The transfer did not look as good as it should have. And I don't think there were any new special features. I think these were all old special features, and there's only one disc in here. There's no Blu-ray on here. So I wouldn't recommend buying this, but I didn't already have the film. You can always just get the Blu-ray and, save yourself a little bit of money. But for me, this may be a controversial opinion. It is, I like it better than the original. I think what Fede Alvarez brought to it with the lead character, I think her name is Mia, has an addiction, and that's why everyone was staying at the cabin. Lends to, he didn't change it too much. He just did those little tweaks that made the the old fans still appreciate what it was, and the new fans be able to hold on to something. But speaking of Fede Alvarez, I think this is his first directed film. He really doesn't have a miss. I mean, he gets these awesome franchises, like obviously this, and most recently Alien Romulus, and he doesn't really have any bad films. And then of course he has Don't Breathe 1 and 2, and I think he's got to have another film that I can't remember at the moment. But what more about this movie? The box cutter, that's brutal. I mean, obviously the chainsaw at the end is insane, but the box cutter to the tongue is just like, wow, this is this is insane. Or even cutting her arm off, that was really gross as well. But I love the design of the Deadites. I think the design in this film is one of my favorite sort of zombie-esque designs in a movie. So yeah, Evil Dead 2013, definitely one of the best, has to be one of the best remakes, along with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. So let's continue with this shelf again, and let's go Fight Club. As you can see here, we have this 10th anniversary edition, and we do not have a 4K, unfortunately, because it's 20th Century Fox, and if you know 20th Century Fox, they are owned by Disney, and Disney doesn't do a lot of physical media that's not in the wheelhouse of their own in-house stuff, Disney animated films and whatnot. But at some point we need one. We just got the other Fincher films. We just got Seven and Zodiac on 4K, so we should definitely get this one in there as well. And speaking of Seven or Zodiac, this is my favorite Fincher film. I know a lot of people would go with the latter, but I love this film, man. Who remembers the Fight Club video game? There was a crappy video game, like, I don't know, 5 years or way after the movie came out, but they had a crappy tie-in video game, and just such great performances by Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt is definitely one of my favorite actors. I think along with Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp. It's crazy that he's like 60 years old. It's someone who's obviously born before you were, and you spent your whole life growing up with them and seeing their movies and films and stuff like that, and rediscovering old films. But it's crazy when they hit those older ages, 50, 60 or something. But I want to go back and watch a couple of his old films at some point. He's got a slasher film. It's called like Cutting Class from the 80s. I want to go back and watch. And of course, one of his younger performances, not a lead role, but he's in Thelma and Louise. And then he goes on to do one of his biggest leading roles at the time, which was Interview with the Vampire. But so speaking of this Blu-ray release, if you have it, I'm not sure if they do it on the DVD as well, or it's just this one, just the Blu-ray, but if you put the disc in, it actually opens up to, the screen says, it's the screen of Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore, which is from the same studio, 20th Century Fox, and came out the same year in 1999. But that I remember, I didn't know about that when I bought this, and I was so confused, like, it just, trolling before trolling and stuff like that. So I'll see if I can insert a picture in here as well. And then one of my favorite things about one of my favorite quotes about the film is, the quote, "We buy things we don't need with money we don't have." It's so true, and it hits so close to home. But I'm trying to think what else. It's such a pivotal film for for. Again, I was super young. I was like 3 years old when this came out. But I imagine, young adults, teenagers, and stuff like that that were just angry at parents or authority or whatever it was at the time, that this film, and obviously with music and stuff like that too, was such a great outlet to just to learn about the world around you, and to in a positive way get out your get out your anger, your depression, your stuff like that. So I do think, even though it's over 20 something years old, it still rings true today. And we I don't know, I just it really hits, I don't know, it hits close to home for a lot of a lot of men, a lot of kids and stuff like that. So it's a great film. Now let's do a fifth and final. We'll just continue on this shelf, why not? Now we're gonna go with Steven Spielberg presents Gremlins. And I remember this 4K transfer wasn't that good. It's not that it wasn't bad or anything, but you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a 4K and the Blu-ray. Man, I haven't seen the second film, The Bad Batch, in forever. I have to go back and watch it. I remember it being okay, but definitely not as good as the original. And of course, in this film, we've got Zach Galligan and Phoebe Cates, who was, sort of the it girl at the time. And what else? Joe Dante directed it. He's got a couple good films. What else did he do? I know he did The Burbs and The Howling, are the first, or maybe the only things that come to mind. I'm sure I'm missing something, but yeah, and just so many good quotes as well. I love Gizmos. Just the design of the Gremlins are so good. And one of my favorite things I would always say is, bright light, like Gizmo would say. And I'm trying to think what else. But, they're making a third film, I think. I'm not sure if it's confirmed or it's a rumor, but I don't know how that's gonna fare well. Of course, if we get the original cast, it would be, you have to do it. But again, you're 30 plus years out. But, hopefully hopefully it actually comes out, and hopefully it's good. But I'm trying to think and then of course we got Gizmo in the pink car as well. But and it's a Christmas movie. Remember that. It is definitely a Christmas movie. What was your favorite film I showed off today? Or are you going to check out a film that I showed off today? Be sure to let me know in the comments section. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also check me out on Instagram at MovieMagic1996. Thank you so much for everything. And as always, go watch a movie today.